Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to thank everybody for checking out all the videos that have been posted and just, following along and seeing the progress of all the renovation that's been going on with this living room. And in general, the whole 2 phases that we've done so far, it's going along great. Everything's looking really good. And yeah, I'd say we're at least 50–60% complete on the house. So yeah, we're moving along. In this week's video, I will be trying to finish up what's going on the fireplace wall. So, we're putting in the 2 cabinets on either side of the fireplace. So those are being installed, painted, primed, not in that order, but, installed, primed, painted. And new countertops put on those. I will also be installing the floating shelves that are on either side of the fireplace. So there'll be 2 on each side. And I will also be constructing and installing the fireplace mantle that's over the fireplace. As I mentioned in previous videos, it's going to be a much chunkier looking mantle, so it has a lot of girth to it, and it's going to look kind of like it's a big giant oak beam. So yeah, that's going in, and that's probably all that's going to be done this week. So let's crack on with the videos, and I'll be right back. So we're putting all the cabinets together here, cutting access holes on the side, screwing them all together so they fit into the opening. The access hole on the side is so we can route power cables through the wall up to the TV. And also I lost my footage for the TV mount for when we installed the wall mount that holds the TV up above the fireplace. So you'll just see it in the videos. It'll just be propped up there. And yeah, so the cabinet's been secured to the wall and leveled. And just encasing everything with the baseboard moldings around the cabinets, around up into the fireplace and down the walls. And here's like an angle view of, just so you can see what the room was going to look like with the molding. And then I'm cutting the cabinet countertops. We're using 3/4 inch plywood and just cut to the dimensions that we wanted. Gonna sand that and then physically attach it onto the cabinet tops. And then those will also be primed and painted to match the cabinets. And here I have just already secured it to the cabinet and then just using caulking to fill in the seams. And then this will all get a final coat of paint over everything. And I'm also putting on a finished edge to the countertop. And I'm just using another stick to make sure that I have this absolutely flush with the countertop itself. And this trim just actually makes the countertop look like it's a much thicker piece. And just drilling in all the access holes to route cables and power cords through. Hooking up like the internet so that we can watch TV again and have Wi-Fi access after we're all done working. And then I had a slight issue with routing all the cables. I didn't leave enough space or something, so I had to cut a hole in the wall to physically pull all those through. But this is the general look of how things are going. So I started building the framing for the fireplace mantle. and with Lowe's crappy wood that's all warped, it was a bit of a challenge trying to get this built. So I'm just trying to figure out how to actually build the mantle framing itself to get our dimensions that we wanted. So I'm roughly getting the frame built, and then I'm going to go and attach it to the wall on the fireplace. Which I am doing right here. So you can see how it's actually gonna look. This is like how thick it's gonna look when you look at it, straight on. And to straighten out, the huge bows in the boards, we had to do a lot of clamping and just nailing like 2x4 spacers in between, just so that these would actually straighten out a bit. And most of it will straighten out once we put on the plywood coating. So to get a plywood top, front, and bottom, the front will actually straighten it all out since plywood isn't gonna bend to those dimensions. It's just not really possible for it to bend in that kind of a direction. So it'll help pull those boards down into a more straight box form. And here I'm just nailing down the top piece, and then we'll put on the front plywood, which will then pull all of that straight. And the TV mount is a nice mount. It swivels, it pulls forward, it tilts forward and back, so you can adjust it to any angle you want. And we also put LED backlighting on the back of the television as well. And these are the brackets on the wall that hold the floating shelf that I was talking about. So we just centered those on the wall, and then there's like a long, like maybe 8 or 10 inch tube that comes out on either side, and that goes into holes that are pre-drilled into the shelves, and they just hold the shelf up. So we're just clamping everything down to get everything straight as much as we can get it, which we did a pretty good job of getting that to straighten out, so it all worked out. And this mantle is also going to get skinned with a oak veneer. So that's what I'm just doing here, is trimming it to the dimensions that we need. And then it's actually going to get glued on with a veneer contact cement. This is actually only like the second time I've ever veneered anything. So it's not too difficult. It's just a bit finicky and trying to get it in straight in one shot, because you only get one shot to do it because the glue is very not forgiving, so you can't really just pull it up and start over again. And then I'm just smoothing out any air pockets that we have, and so it's nice and smooth. And we'll trim off the excess that's hanging over. And here I've already glued on the veneer for the front, and just sanding off my corner so I have a nice clean corner. on the top, and it'll also get sanded on the bottom, so it has a nice clean corner as well. And then this is me just trimming off the excess on the bottom. And then putting on the final coat of veneer for the underside. And doing my final cleanup, trying to get a nice clean corner. And here's what the room is looking like. The mantelpiece, that's before the veneer went on, but this is a more finished look of what the cabinets look like. The floating shelves will go in, and everything's gonna get stained and faux finish the same color, so everything will match. So that was this week's video. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was a lot of work. It ended up taking me a little bit longer than what I anticipated, but yeah, that's usually just my MO. That's how I roll. Anyway, so in next week's video, I will be tiling around the fireplace and also the hearth with this new pretty tumbled travertine tile that we got. And it's subway style, so it's roughly 3 by 9-ish. So those are going in, and I will faux finish the 4 floating shelves on the wall, and also staining the new mantle that we just put in so that they all have the same wood tone and color, and it'll match what's going on in the dining room on the dining room table. So we'll have those 2 ends with those color wood stains going on in there. And yeah, so if you do like the videos, please do remember to give me one of these. And yeah, and also please do remember to like and subscribe. It does help a lot, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, so I'll see you all next week. Bye.